What's up, y'all? We are live. Gonna give people a couple minutes to hop in, see if anybody wants to jump in here. If not, we're gonna get right to it. Welcome. Fix the angle a little bit. Sunday, the day of the sun. It's me. You know who I am. If not, welcome. My name is Andrew Prometheus. Some people call me Coach. Today for the drink, I'm going to be drinking some pineapple juice. Yes, sir. One of my favorites. Welcome. Get that pineapple juice poured. And then we'll get right to it. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Feel free to say what's up. Say who you are. I can't really see who's here, but the chat will tell me. I'm a little new to this whole live thing, so bear with me. I'm going to do my best as always. I would play a little bit of music. I haven't figured out how to do that yet without violating some copyrights. So as soon as I figure that out, I'll starting these out with a little music. This pineapple juice is good, man. Hope you're feeling good today. Hope you're blessed. Hope at night you get good rest, right? But without further ado, might as well jump into it. So the topic for today, as you may have seen in the title and the thumbnail, is don't put any person above your program. Now, when some people hear this, they're going to think I mean strictly the workout program or the food program. But I'll be honest with you. Your program goes beyond that. Your program has to do with how you conduct yourself, the standards you hold yourself to, something like your wake-up time, something like your grooming schedule, something like your bathing schedule. For me, it includes saying please and thank you when I'm at an establishment, ordering food, buying something, right? Your manners, what you consider to be the way you like to conduct yourself. Now, I grew up down south, spent 12 years growing up in Jacksonville, Florida. I went to elementary school and high school there. So good manners were something that I was taught down there. That southern hospitality, that southern style, that sticks with me a little bit. Not to say that people up here are rude, but there's a bit of a difference between maybe that northeastern attitude and that southern attitude, you know? The way that people talk to each other in Philadelphia or New York is a little different than how people talk to each other in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll be honest with you. Now, quick history lesson. Much of Pennsylvania during the Civil War was occupied by Southern forces. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole North versus South thing. Real quick, I am descended from a soldier. My ancestor fought for the North for what it's worth. So that kind of tells you where I stand on it. But I have a lot of Southern brothers and sisters who I have a lot of love for. So no disrespect to anybody who may be descended from the other side, right? This video isn't about the Civil War, though. I'll be honest with you. I'm a big fan of unity. I'm a big fan of brotherly love, as Philadelphia has been named after. So the last thing I want to see is my country divided. But that's a whole nother story. My program, personally, welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here. Cheers. But my program, personally, is what time I wake up, when I cut my hair, when I shave my face, when I work out, what I eat, and when. And these are things that I don't think it's a good idea to compromise for somebody else. Now, as a coach, I know there are people on my team looking to me to see, does he break program, right? If my program personally, which currently includes sobriety, was broken, you might feel a little more capable of breaking it, right? As a leader, whether you realize it or not, there are people watching you that are paying attention to what you're doing. Younger siblings, maybe newer people at your place of work, maybe people a little behind you, somewhere like the gym. They're paying attention to you. You got to make sure that you don't break program while these people are watching. And especially when nobody's watching. Now, what some people will try to do, I've noticed in my experience as a coach, is they'll say, hey, I just want part of the program. And some coaches might be tempted to sell them part of the program. But the problem is that person already feels bigger than the program, better than the program, cherry picking from the program. Now, I don't think it's fair to the program, if you believe in it, to allow this to happen. I'll be honest with you. I don't personally believe in that. So the first time somebody might put themselves above the program is when you look at yourself and you think, I'm worth more than the program today. And then you forget why you signed up for it in the first place. If you think, I don't need to wake up at my wake-up time. I don't need to work out when I normally work out today. I don't need to shower, I don't need to shave. I don't need to bathe. You can see how this becomes a slippery slope, right? Can snowball into you're not who you're supposed to be anymore very quickly. Now, another version of people putting themselves above the program. I wish I've never seen this before, but I've seen it lots of times. Especially my male friends. They'll run a program. They'll get some gains. They'll get some money stacked up, right? Sometimes the program includes what you're not going to spend your money on. For a lot of people, it's frivolous purchases, gambling, certain things that maybe they decided, hey, I can't really do this anymore, right? For me, it's all those things that I used to spend my money on to get high or altered or low or whatever you want to call it. That would all be breaking program for me. Now, I'm blessed to say I have 6 weeks of sobriety. That's something I'm very proud of. That means I've stuck to my program for the last 6 weeks because that currently is the foundation of my entire program. I cannot be myself. I cannot be alive. I cannot be here without sobriety. That much I'm certain of. Excuse me. Now, whatever your program is that you have designated for yourself, you are watching yourself run it. You made a commitment to yourself. And every time you break that, now there will be mistakes on the path, but you got to do your best to not make them and be honest when you do. If I set an alarm to wake up at 6 a.m., the next thing you know, I snooze that thing and I'm waking up at 9 a.m., even if I do everything I have to do that day afterwards, I started the day off on a loss because I told myself I was going to do something and then I watched myself not do it. The first person you need to not let down is yourself, and then those around you, those that are paying attention, those that you're committed to showing up for. It's not selfish to show up for yourself first. It's actually very selfless. What's selfish is to lazily give less than the best version of yourself to others or to yourself, right? If you look into the mirror and you don't like what you see, if you see out of shape, if you see broke, if you see cruel, and you want to be a nice person, that's all something you can internalize and work on. Now, I'll be honest with you, the proper program is supposed to build you into who you want to be as a man, as a woman, right? Whatever you want to be, that program is supposed to take you there. That's the whole reason you sign up for it. So if you're thinking to yourself, man, I don't even have a program. Well, I need to get myself a program. It was very simple. There's plenty of programs out there you can sign up to without buying them. You don't have to spend $1 to find the right program for you. Now, something that is worth paying for is if you want someone to watch you and hold you accountable and catch you, because I'll be honest with you, an aspect of a real coach is that person's going to say, hey, you broke program here. Now, you might catch yourself breaking program and think, man, I got to fix this. I got to do better. But what you might not catch is what that external view can see and do. You might think you're 100% adhering to program. And then if you check with that coach, if you check with that person who created the program, which is probably the best place to go, they might say you're doing great. You got a 98%, but these couple things are actually not a part of the program. Believe it or not. So the right person, the right program, the program comes first, because that's where the power comes from. Now, I've heard somebody say, I can give you the easiest program in the world. Eventually, every single day, there will come a day where you don't want to run that program anymore. So the real aspect of programming, which is a common word thrown around in something like personal training, is can you stick to that day after day, week after week, month after month? Can you adhere to that? Is the program actually doable for a long period of time? The difference between a good program and a not as good program is some programs are actually designed to fail before they have the chance to yield results, right? As an example, I'll use, let's say there's a rehab facility that would rather make profits than actually help people. Let's say this facility knows for a fact that if they let you relapse, you'll come back. There's a chance. And if they really clean you up, you'll never come back. So they might think to themselves, man, why don't we, now this would be evil, but this is an example of a bad program. They might think to themselves, man, why don't we release them right before they're ready? And then they'll come right back. And they might lie to themselves and say, and then we'll clean them up and send them back into the world. And we'll just make a little extra money because we deserve it, right? Slippery slope, evil thinking. So you want to be very careful whose program you sign up for, whose program you even try. Now, if you see a coach who puts themselves above their own program, that's already a problem, right? If I was on this smoking a joint, talking about sobriety, if I was going off doing steroids, if I was going off dropping acid, and then I came on this and wanted to talk about sobriety, that would be me breaking the program before I even give it to you. And the thing that sucks is that might be a great program, and it doesn't even get a chance to be delivered properly because I'm not even running it. So when you look at me, you don't see the outcome of that program. That would be a problem. Now I'm blessed and proud to say I don't break my own program. And I feel like that gives me the grounds to talk about how important programming is. Maybe my program's not challenging enough because I'm able to do all of it. That's up for debate. But in my personal opinion, as somebody who's programmed myself and others for about 8 years now, right? I've been programming myself for 16, but I've been training others for 8 years. You want to make sure it's a program that you can actually continue to run. Thank you for that like. I appreciate whoever liked the video. Now, when you're building a program and running it, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you want to be measuring it. You want to be tracking it. If certain aspects of the program are difficult, that's not a bad thing. I can tell you right now, the hardest part about my program for the last 6 weeks was at first staying sober. My body wanted to go back to drugs. My body wanted to go back to weed. My body wanted to go back to some type of chemical escape, right? I even had an urge to gamble for the first time in my life because my body was hunting for just something to get some type of high, right? Something addictive. Now, no disrespect to people who can handle those things. If you can have one drink at night and not down the whole bottle, if you can place a bet without putting the rent money up on it, it's not a problem. How's it going, Tyler? I hope I pronounced that properly. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Now, I'll tell you right now, I apologize, I got a little sidetracked. I'm getting used to the live thing. But an aspect of my program that I find to be a little difficult sometimes is right when I wake up, I do fasted cardio. Now, sometimes I want to eat because I'm hungry. You skip that. You go right to the gym, you hit that fasted cardio. You attack the fat on your body immediately. Now, right after that, I'm a little tired and I'm a little hungry. Then I do 50 knuckle push-ups on asphalt next to my car in the parking lot before I get into my car and go home and eat breakfast. Now, I'll be honest with you, there's always that little voice in my head that says, why don't you just do 40 today? You don't need to do all 50. Why don't you just do 30 today? You don't need to do all 50. Why don't we go eat first and then hit those push-ups? What difference will it make, right? But part of the mental aspect of discipline is even if it sounds like your own voice, even if it's coming from your own mind, you recognize that that's not you talking, that's not the program talking, that's the spirit of laziness, that's the spirit of giving up, that's the spirit of quitting, and those are things that you don't want to let creep into the program at all. Now, the farther you get in certain programs, you may notice somebody wants me to do this with them, somebody wants me to do that with them. Like I was saying a minute ago, I've observed a lot of males especially who will pick a program and run it. And as soon as they get the attention of a female, as soon as they get a couple new friends, as soon as they get a new job, guess what they do? They drop that program, not realizing that that program is what gave them that. So when you think about things alchemically, when you think about them spiritually, if that's the program that got you there, dropping that is going to take you from there, right? If running that program helped you make that progress, the program deserves credit. The program deserves not to be broken. Whether it's a workout program, a self-discipline program, a grooming program, it's a good example. Imagine somebody who shaves and takes a shower every single day. Let me read this real quick. That's a good question. You said, does being uncomfortable become easier? The concept of momentum does apply. I'll tell you right now. If you do something every day, like my knuckle push-ups, for example, they're not going to feel as difficult as they do that first day. The hard part about it is going to be resisting those voices I talked about that are going to be wanting you to quit the program because it's become comfortable. Now, there's a certain aspect of at least people like me, and I think people like me, we enjoy a challenge. We like to do something new. We like to do something difficult, right? When you've done it every day for 30, 60, 90, 120 days, it's not going to feel as difficult as it did. The first time I did knuckle push-ups on asphalt, my hands bled. It created cuts. And I remember it caused a fear response, right? How am I going to do these tomorrow? And now the fact that they don't cut my hands up, it's not a serious pain anymore. It just kind of feels like a normal push-up. That's when the voice creeped in that said, hey, why don't we skip them today? We got those results. The hands and the wrists and the joints, they've become stronger now. Why don't we just stop doing those? But what you might not realize is then you'll go right back. Now, muscle memory is a powerful concept. So I would say discipline every single day is going to be discipline. But it's just one day's worth of discipline. Most people don't realize that today you only have to run one day's worth of the program. You don't have to eat tomorrow's meals today. You don't have to do yesterday's work today. So what I'll tell somebody if they break program, especially the people I coach and train, is if you miss yesterday's workout, all you have to do today is today's workout. Just get back on program. You don't have to hit yesterday's and today's. If the program is properly structured, all you have capacity for today is today's work. If you try to do multiple days of work at once, you're just going to take away from what today's work is supposed to be. So the short answer to the question is yes, it gets easier, but it's still the same thing every day. You wake up, you do today's work. Now, a lot of people glorify, well, if I can do a whole year's worth of work in 1 month, then maybe for 11 months, I just don't have to work. First of all, this is a lie. Second of all, that's not what you want to run into. Absolutely, anytime. I've never been to Canada. I would love to go there, man. I would love to go up there. But all you have to do in one day is one day's work, one day's program. If you do push-ups, part of the way I like to line up a program is that it will ramp up over time. So after you do a certain number of push-ups for 6 weeks, up that number by 5 or 10. Or honestly, if you really want to push it, as soon as you hit that state of comfort, turn the knob up a little bit, up it a little bit. Because what could and should be a constant is that state of discomfort. If you get too comfortable bench pressing 135 pounds, throw some extra weight on there, right? You want to keep that discomfort kind of constant. Discomfort is an aspect of growth. I think a lot of people get mixed up because what they'll do is they'll seek pain and they'll seek discomfort, assuming that it's always going to trigger growth. That's not necessarily true. You know, if you got pain from the workout and you're supposed to do it, and maybe you got the pain of missing out on that fast food because you're going to eat clean, that's all useful. But if you go and you hold a lighter under your hand, that's also going to hurt. You stick your hand on a hot stove, that's also going to hurt. It's not going to build you any muscle. It's not going to build any mental fortitude. That's just foolish. So there is a difference and a line with it. But one aspect of programming and running programming is you don't want to put yourself, you don't want to put your coach, you don't want to put your friends. And I'll be honest, I'm not the type of person that would put my family above the program either. Because the reason I run my program is so I can be who I need to be for my family. Now, how much sense would it make to pretend I'm doing something for them when I'm really taking somebody from them? They can't have me if I'm not running my program. Because like I said, a fundamental aspect of my program is my sobriety. Now, if I start to shave off the top of my program, eventually I'll get to the bottom. You take one brick out at a time, next thing you know, the whole thing's gone. You're supposed to be building it. So I think as far as programming goes, once you know you have the right program, you don't want to let anybody be an excuse to not hit that program. And this is where it gets difficult. I'll use my sobriety as an example. If somebody wants me to break my sobriety, not only are they a threat to my program, they are a threat to everybody else who I'm supposed to give myself to. Because you might not believe this isn't something I'm proud of. But the wrong version of me, who's getting high, who's getting fucked up, wants to hurt himself and wants to hurt other people. So it's actually not safe for me to be around the people I care about unless I am sober, right? Unless I am strong in the mind, unless I'm strong in the body. I'm not going to pretend I don't have demons to battle. I'm not going to pretend I don't have the devil itself to battle. These are the weapons. These are the tools with which I win that battle every day. That's the proper program for me and anybody like me. Now, I'm not everybody. You might not be like me. But if that sounds familiar to you, if you've seen lower level versions of yourself do things that you regret, that's where the program comes in. Human beings are a lot like machines, whether people want to see it or not. There's a program you can run through your computer that will debug your computer, right? That will protect your computer. If you watch The Matrix, there was a program that ran through Neo's mind that taught him martial arts, that taught him different things. This is how you want to look at a program. You're like a machine, and you run a program through yourself. If the program's supposed to make you stronger in body, stronger in mind, stronger in spirit, there's nothing wrong with running that program. A virus is not a program. A weakness, a bug, is not a program, but it pretends to be, right? This is something to keep in mind. You don't want to run the wrong program thinking it's the right one. So that's where I can recommend, before you double, triple, 100% down and decide, this is my program for life. Try a few out, make sure it works for others. Now, I can speak with confidence and say that a program like sobriety, exercising in any way, looking at what you eat, what you allow to enter your mind and your body and your soul, that's not a bad program. That's much better than the alternative. But there are programs out there that if you run them, they will hurt you. These aren't the programs that you want to preserve and that you want to run with your full energy. But the whole point is you should be the one making the decision. It should come up to you, your interests, what your goals are, what you value and what you don't value. That's how you go about selecting programs. Once again, my favorite program that I run right now is sobriety. If I let somebody get in the way of that, not only will I hate that person pretty soon, because I might blame them for that, I'll have an issue with myself, right? If I skip a workout for somebody, and then I start to not like how I look or feel, if I eat the wrong food or skip an important meal for somebody, and I'm thinking, hey, I'm doing it for them, I'm putting this person above my program because I value them, very quickly, that position I put them up on will be lower than other people. It's the same reason you don't pedestalize people. When you put people at the top, the only room they have to go is down. It's the only direction left, man. You want people to earn their way up or earn their way down. I'm going to close this video out with a quote from the great DMX. May he rest in peace. I'm not going to get it perfect, but the point is, don't waste your time not trusting people. A person's going to be who they are, so trust them to be who they are. Just make sure you see it clearly. So in your mind, whatever version of yourself you want to be, that you think, if I run this workout program, if I run this financial plan, if I run this food plan, if I start to act like this and move like this, I'm going to really love that version of myself. I can tell you right now, whatever your favorite version of yourself is, your fantasy version of yourself, that's who you really are. Everything else is a distraction and a lie. So with that knowledge, with that equipment, I wish you much success. I wish you good fortune. Pick the right program and don't let anybody come in the way of it. It's you and your program. That's a commitment to yourself. And thinking that you're putting somebody above it is actually a lie. You're not. That's not putting anybody on an elevated position. You're just teeing somebody up to knock them down and blame them later, including yourself. I'm not bigger than the program. Neither are you. Neither is anybody else. If somebody comes and offers to give me $100 million and they say, hey, just go get high one more time, I have to say no, right? That applies to more than just sobriety, but that's a good example. Happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. Drinking some pineapple juice today. Prometheus out.